everybody, and welcome back to Cast Album Chat with Tyler. First of all, sorry for taking such a long break between videos. I've had a very eventful week. Some great things happening in my family. I just want to say that I'm very proud of my partner for a big milestone this week. So we just thought we would take a little while to celebrate, but you didn't think you could shut me up for too long. I have too much to talk about when it comes to cast albums. So I just want to give you a few little updates for a short video, and then we'll get into maybe some more videos a little bit later on today or tomorrow. Just a couple of updates, not really a topic here. You know, as a collector, we are always receiving things in the mail. We always find things in stores. And just kind of wanted to give an update on things that I've spoken about in past videos and just some random stuff here and there. So the first thing I did want to mention, the good news here, is that Tell Me on a Sunday from Finland has arrived. And yes, the cover is just as special in person. We have here the Finnish studio recording of Tell Me on a Sunday. I don't know how to pronounce this, Pelinhenki, I would assume. And so, yes, it came in. It is in fantastic shape. Unfortunately, it doesn't scan very well, so I will put up on this video sort of the scans I took. It's kind of hard to tell because when I put it in my scanner, I have to kind of cut it in two, then the colors don't match really. So this part is a little bit darker, but honestly, there is no detail over here anyway, so I think that this was intended to be black, which is kind of the way that I changed the colors on my cover, so that whenever I have transferred it on my turntable to my computer, cleaned it up, and then put the album cover art on to go on my phone, that's what I see, and so it's not so much of an eyesore. The back cover was even more difficult just because of all the text, but all that being said, I'm really enjoying the recording a lot. It kind of does fall sort of in the middle as far as Tell Me on a Sunday song and dance recordings are concerned. This singer, her full name is Laura Antikainen, and this is actually a different recording as far as backing tracks, everything is concerned. Obviously the translation, this is in Finnish. As you can see here, we got the lyrics that came with it. This is the little inlay here. The lyrics there in Finnish. And the arrangements are different, so it's not like the original Gita recordings that have the same backing tracks or the Swedish recording with Maria Wickman. These are different arrangements. And so that's something, if you just want to hear a different take on it, there you go. If you can find this, I think it's fairly rare. I was just very lucky when I was tipped off that this recording existed. I found it on Discogs and I snatched it up. Luckily it came in great condition. The seller was wonderful. I will say that shipping from Finland is very expensive. And I paid I paid the top amount that I could, thinking that I would get a tracking number with it. I did not, but it did arrive in about a week from Finland to Austin, Texas. So I can't really complain there. As far as the recording itself, the singer, Laura, she has a great voice. How do I want to put this? She sounds great on the recording. I don't know that she's necessarily my style of singer, that I'm going to go find her solo recordings necessarily, but I think a lot of this is cultural. One thing I will say that Finns are not necessarily known for being belters, and they're also not known, and I think Finnish people will admit to this, although I don't think it's necessarily an admission, I just think it's a cultural thing, is they don't show a lot of emotion. So, whenever we have, recordings in Swedish, English, German, and, we've all seen the varying levels of emotion or what you can express in those languages through the recordings of Tell Me on a Sunday. We also have a singer here from Finland who seems a little bit more laid back. And that really lends itself well to some songs, and to the other songs, maybe not as much. You don't get any belting here necessarily. She will flip into a light head voice, it doesn't get woofy or operatic or anything like that, but it's not a straight out belt. But I was enjoying listening to this the other day at the gym, and I was having a short conversation with a friend, hi Jameson, about the version that was used for this recording. It is the original version from 1980. There might be a different order of songs. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to go back and check. But you know, as far as the actual songs themselves and the versions of the songs that are used, it's almost identical to the original concept album, German studio album, Swedish album, Danish album. The last track is a little bit different. It's just called Reprise. I feel like there was something else I needed to say about this recording, but all that is to say that if you want to hear a little bit more of this, I can certainly do an extra video. I'm sure I'll add it in other videos, so you can get some clips of the show. But just know that it's out there, it exists, and we have another Nordic version of Tell Me on a Sunday. Another recording that I just kind of randomly found at a local record store, Waterloo Records. I hope someday that I can do a video kind of walking through to show you what I do when I go to a used record store, just kind of sifting through to help anybody with any tips, or just so you can see what record shopping is like in Austin, Texas, which we have a lot of live music here, so our record stores are really fantastic. But I did find at Waterloo Records The Who live at the Isle of Wight Festival 1970. This is, just Who playing at the festival. The thing that makes this stick out and why I'm including it on this channel is they sing their rock opera, Tommy, almost in its entirety, not completely, but for the most part. I was talking about, strangely enough, Song and Dance and Tell Me on a Sunday. Gitte did a tour in 1984, the Lampenfieber tour, and she sang about 5 or 6 songs from Tell Me on a Sunday. But this is a large number of songs. I mean, they even played the overture all the way through We're Not Gonna Take It. It has Tommy's Holiday Camp in there. There's a Doctor, Fiddle About, so some of the smaller songs, they kind of almost sing it in its entirety. As far as a review of this thing, I much prefer the original concept album, just because you get a few more instruments there. You get, I can't remember which band member playing the French horn on that recording. We don't have that here. And a lot of the ensemble singing, when you have more than one member of the Who singing together, it's much more cohesive on the studio album. From what I remember, and I think I was reading, they went on stage at the festival at about 2 a.m. And it kind of sounds like it. There are certain numbers that have more structure to them on the concept, I don't want to call it a concept album, the studio album from the Who. But this one kind of just sounds like they're doodling sometimes, just kind of playing a little bit and seeing what happens. So this is not as focused. I think that's what I would definitely say. If you like the Who, this is a live album that was not released until I think about 26 years after the actual recording took place. I think there's also a DVD Blu-ray of this, so if you want to check it out and you're a fan of the Who, definitely find it. But if you're just gonna get it for Tommy, you might want to skip it. There are some other recordings that I vastly prefer. That being said, I did only spend $5.99 on this, so I think that I did a good job on buying this one. Last and certainly not least, I am still having some ongoing drama with Amazon France with the Mamma Mia recording. If you'll remember, I received this with this lovely hole in the top of it, and like I said, it was not a terribly expensive album to find. This is the French cast recording of Mamma Mia from 2010 on double vinyl. It's not terribly expensive, but if you're going to spend any money on something, it needs to come in good shape. So I got a hold of them at customer service. I spoke to many different people. The window closes if you don't answer them in about 30 seconds or a minute or so. And I don't speak French. So I was translating back and forth through the translator, and they would write something, and then I would kind of take my knowledge of Romance languages to see if I could figure it out, and then just go directly from translating to English to French so I could send it back to them. It was a nightmare. Anyway, they finally sent me an email, told me to take pictures, send it back, and then they would tell me if they would accept that for sending me a new copy. They never answered me, of course. Why would they? And so they sent me a new copy anyway, and then of course if I don't either hear back from them or send back this copy, they'll charge me for the new one. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at right now. And I never received a response from the first email. I did get the second one, and I was kind of waiting to hear back from that email because the shipping itself was so expensive. It was actually going to cost Amazon France more money to refund me the money if I send it back to them, which I don't understand this whole, you pay it and then we'll refund you. This is freaking Amazon we're talking about. Anyway, so I was waiting to hear back from them, hadn't heard anything, but the new copy came in. And I was thinking, okay, if this new copy is in good shape, then we're, perfectly fine here. I'll figure out the other situation. I don't mind sending the other one back if I know they're going to refund me. But they told me to send it back to a warehouse in Slovakia. I just honestly don't trust them because they have always had terrible customer service when I speak to them through the chat function. Well, yesterday it arrived, and what do I get? A crumpled, can you see this? I mean, this crumpled. It looked like this. It was bent when it arrived. This is what it looked like. This is in worse shape than the original, and I didn't even have to take this one out of the plastic to find out. It is in its plastic, intact and everything. Got a hold of them yesterday on chat. Told them the same situation. Of course, the first person couldn't help me. They sent me to another person. They asked me all the same questions that I had already done through chat that I had to translate back and forth. So I had to do that again. And then, I'm trying not to be a Karen with anyone. Don't want to be. I don't think they get paid enough to deal with that crap from people yelling at them. But I just, really needed to speak. I needed to speak to the manager. I needed to speak to somebody who could help me. And so I kind of went through 3 people, had to repeat everything that I had originally said in the previous conversations. And then they sent me to someone who was typing to me in Spanish. They wrote, hi, this is so-and-so. Lots of really unprofessional emojis. Didn't quite understand that. I am a representative from Amazon Spain. Can I help you today? And then after that, she just wrote English, in English, English, question mark. And then I wrote, either way, whichever you're more comfortable with, please help me. I speak English and Spanish. Then she wrote back, well, good, because I only speak Spanish. I never told anyone that I spoke Spanish, so why they transferred me to somebody from Amazon Spain is beyond me. She couldn't help me either. The only thing that she could do is just kind of let me know that I was going to get the money back if I send the vinyl back to them, and they're just going to refund it. And I think I'm washing my hands of Amazon France. I can't deal with them anymore. And at this point, after having received the second one, I have no faith in them that they will send me a new copy actually in mint condition. And I know this seems like a weird thing to get kind of worked up about, but I just don't understand how they really operate things there. I have not really been able to resolve anything because, like I said, I have these 2 copies here. Haven't heard back from the first email, so I don't know if they're going to charge me for the second one, having sent it out. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack both of them up. I'm going to put the shipping notices on the outside, on the inside, everywhere, send it back to them, and just wait for a refund. I really honestly don't know what else to do. So if anyone has had any experience with Amazon France, I would love to know kind of what that was for you, because I think it is absolutely, completely the worst customer service I've ever had in my life. Also, on a side note, anyone that speaks French, how exactly do you say in French? How do you say that in French exactly? Anyway, washing my hands of Amazon France. I will never, ever, ever order from them again. Luckily, this recording has shown up on Discogs, and I hope that once I get the refund from this, I don't want to spend any more money on this since I have the CD already. I know it sounds silly. I just like to have, I love vinyls. I think they're really, really cool. Yeah, so I really would like to get this, but I'm going to wait on the refund to order it again. There is a seller in France that is selling them. They have really good reviews. So I'm just hoping that I can get it from Discogs and finally get this recording in mint condition and not have to deal with Amazon France ever again. Ooh, and another thing that I forgot that I got in the mail because I pre-ordered it so early on. And then it just arrived, and I was so happy that it arrived on the day that it was released, is the London Highlights of Starlight Express on vinyl. This is the Zoetrope recording, so if you get it in certain light and it's spinning, I'm gonna try to do a video at some point, but I know I did do a video about upcoming cast recordings, and so there's a little GIF that I put on there of what it looks like, but I kind of want to do an experiment on my own. Sound quality is great, sounds wonderful. There's nothing new here that wasn't on the original London recording, except for Crazy as a bonus track from the 1992 Revisal recording. And once again, you know, I certainly didn't want to be caring about this. I got it, and the bottom of this was bent and whatnot, but this is plastic. It is fine, and I am not going, I'm gonna pick my battles lately, and this is not the hill I want to die on. Because honestly, the most decorative thing about this is the actual disc itself. And it looks really cool while it's spinning. Can't really see the motion unless you have it under certain lighting, like a strobe light. But like I said, I'm gonna do some experiments here. So we'll see if I got a video coming up soon. So all that is to say, needed to get this out of my system. I'm gonna edit this video really quickly, put it out there, hopefully today, then do a little costume change, and I hope to have a new Pride Edition video coming up soon, so keep your eyes open for that. Thank you once again for joining me. As always, leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. I would be very, very thankful. But until our Pride Edition, see you next time.